Hi, this is Abhimanyu. I'm in conversation with Krishna Shroff. Krishna, how are we doing today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you for taking out time. I know it's a hectic schedule when you come to Delhi. You are an entrepreneur, you're a promoter, and you're always hustling. So it's always a busy time for you. Thank you for taking out time. And you've come at such a beautiful time, the first MFN fight in India, in Delhi. Looking forward to that.
This one's actually our second
Second, okay.
MFN in Delhi. We did MFN 2 over here as well, and now we're back with
Okay.
MFN 8, and I honestly could not be more excited. I always say I feel like the crowd here is unmatchable. The energy that, Delhi, the fight capital, brings to a fight night is just like no other. So extremely excited to be back here and so looking forward to April 1st.
The pandemic had sort of put a full stop to all live sports, live action across the world. At that time, were you worried about what would happen, how it would happen, and whether we would ever get back to this stage where the crowd is here and everything's happening?
Of course, there was definitely that sense of worry. Touch wood, we have the best team in the world, man. We have such a strong backbone supporting us. Our core team is with it, So even through the midst of the pandemic, I mean, we were able to host what was it? Three amazing successful shows. And you just have to overcome and adapt. So when the pandemic kind of hit India as hard as it did, unfortunately, we decided to do just that, and we took MFN global and managed three amazing shows in Dubai.
And that was quite good adaptability wise, because you didn't just sit, you adapted to the situation and you went ahead and did something new. And otherwise, the break can be a little daunting, because once you have a long break, then coming back to it tends to be a little overwhelming. But I think the fact that you stayed in motion and kept doing things, that sort of helped. And now you're back here and looking forward to it.
Definitely. I mean, through the whole thing, you have to stay relevant. That's the most important thing. So whether we, were able to have crowds or not in Dubai, we stayed relevant, and I think the excitement grew even more because of that, for our homecoming show.
Exactly. So people know that you've been doing stuff and you've been having fight nights in Dubai, and now you're coming back. So the anticipation is there. How is this role suiting you as the promoter, the entrepreneur, the face of it, as well as the person behind it? How are you finding it?
I'm loving it. This is a passion of mine, and I've always been one to stay true to what I truly feel passionate about. I'm so blessed and so lucky to be able to wake up every single day and live the life that I love and do what I love so much. I feel like when you love what you do, no day feels like work. It's something you look forward to and something you never get sick of. And I think, not just me, but my entire team, our intent's been in the right place from the very beginning, which is why I feel like we've seen, such immense growth in such a short amount of time for Matrix Fight Night.
I met you last some 4 or 5 years ago in Delhi itself, and you will, of course, you won't remember that. This was for another fight league, that was the Super Fight League. Back then, it was just it was a beginning, and your mom and your brother all were accompanying this. And I'm so amazed and so happy to see how far you've come and how big this has become now. MFN, everything is, because it was you were a team owner there, you were a part owner there, and here you're running the whole thing, and everything is pretty much how MMA is globally.
Hey man, if I may say so myself, I'm not just running it, but I think Matrix Fight Night absolutely took over this space, this side of the world. I mean, you think about MMA, you're not thinking about any other promotion anymore. Coming out of this side of the world, there's nothing but Matrix Fight Night.
Agreed. And which is why I say I'm amazed and happy how far you've come and how fast this has grown in a country like India, which has, been a little wary of new sports and new things, because we are a little we like to do our own things. We like to do cricket, we like to do badminton, we like to do tennis and football, and that's pretty much it. So whenever something new comes up, it's skepticism. But here it's growing great, and people are watching it, people are loving it, people are connecting to it. Were you worried initially, or did you always know it's going to be a big thing?
You're anything new that you're trying to introduce is, it's always going to be a risk. People are either going to love it or hate it. But I've always been a risk taker. I'm definitely a go-getter. I'm a believer in everything I do, so I'd never put a product out there that I don't truly believe in. You know, I only put it out there and fully executed Matrix Fight Night. You know, once I was sure at my core.
Right.
It's such an amazing sport. You know, I feel like if I'm blessed to be able to be around these athletes, you know, in such close proximity and see what they go through every single day in the buildup of a fight until their fight, you know, and it's honestly like nothing I've seen. So I truly believe, you know, the world needs to be introduced to the sport and definitely have more knowledge of it, because I can honestly say, you know, it's changed my life. This sport gives you a certain discipline, a drive, a focus that you know I necessarily didn't have before.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I definitely am excited to introduce it to our country, you know, and take it to the next level.
You've spoken about how the sport has changed your life personally as well. And because in your past interviews, you've spoken that you were not always the fittest of people growing up. But now, I mean, when I look at you, you're not just fit, but disciplined, which are two different things, but they go hand in hand. So how did this happen
Right.
to you? How did MMA and fitness happen to you? Was it like a family influence? Was it just a wake-up call one day? How did that happen?
Actually, I introduced my family to mixed martial arts. My family's, of course, always been very inclined towards fitness, and it's really been at the core of who I am. I've been following the sport of MMA for over a decade now, you know, and like I said, not just the physicality, but the mentality, the mental strength that these guys and girls possess is really what intrigued me and really what kind of diverted me towards the sport. You know, I feel like it takes a very special individual, like I said, to do what they do, and a very one of a kind human being, you know. And I mean, I'm all for anything, you know, that helps inspire and motivate. And this, you know, I can vouch for because it's changed my life. You know, as soon as I began following the sport and then eventually practicing, you know, the sport a little bit, not professionally, of course, but for fitness purposes, like I said, you know, it's added all these attributes to me and just, I feel like made me a better version of myself, you know. And as a woman, it's given me a newfound sense of security and confidence that I didn't have before. So I definitely urge, you know, women to take it up as well and not be intimidated at the fact that it's, you know, a male dominant sport. But I feel like it has so many benefits for women too.
You know, this was a good revelation for me, because I always assumed that I always watch Tiger's videos and I assumed that that's where it came to you. And you just told me that you were the one who introduced it to the family. So I always assumed that he was the one who was into, you know, all sorts of martial arts and everything. And that's where it would have come to you. So, but it was the other way around. Thanks for clarifying that.
He's definitely been practicing, you know, for a lot longer than I have, but I've been following the sport I've been a fan of the sport, like, you know, watching fight nights every Sunday and introducing my family to that side of it. Practicing for me came much later. And, you know, he's of course been able to take it to the next level with his practice. I kind of just, you know, love to do it for, you know, mental clarity and just fitness purposes. I mean, it's a great form of cardio at the end of the day. So for someone that hates, you know, running on a treadmill and gets super impatient with that, like me, I mean, it's the best form.
But it must help you to connect as well. I mean, you have a pretty close relationship, you and Tiger. But now that you're both practicing in a different way, a thing that you both love, thing you're both passionate about, has it helped you bond about this as well, which probably you didn't 10, 15 years ago?
You know, I feel like for me, it's really understanding the sport better and just being in such close proximities to these athletes has really made me appreciate what my brother does. You know, it's amazing to see how easy he makes these difficult things look, you know, and I mean, growing up, seeing your brother do all these larger than life things, and now kind of having a better understanding of it. I mean, that's so much motivation in my household itself. You know, I have no excuse to sit on my ass and and not do something to better myself every single day.
But was it intimidating to see, you know, I mean, it's always good to have role models and inspiration around you, but sometimes it's intimidating as well, because people compare and people can be cruel. And when you have someone as amazing and as focused as Tiger, and your dad, of course, as fit as he is at his age, it's amazing. So people, when they compare, does it get to you? Did it get to you back then?
You know, I feel like any comparison with my superhero of a brother is a win in its own right. So if you're putting me in the same, sentence as him, I feel like I'm doing something right. I'm winning at life right then and there. I'm not gonna lie, as a young teenager, all these opinions and third, like, outside voices, they definitely impact you, but whereas a lot of people could take it in a very negative stride, I actually took that in a very positive stride, and I use it as fuel. I use it as motivation to do something to better myself. And now, I mean, every single day for me, I'm an extremely competitive person. So, I always say it's so important to understand that everyone's journey is different. You're your biggest competition. So as long as you're doing something every single day to better yourself than who you were yesterday, you're on the right track. You're eventually going to get there. But for me, I mean, it's double the motivation having him as a brother, so I'll never take those comparisons in a negative light. I'll always take that in a positive, and I'll always use it to push myself.
That's a great attitude to have. I mean, like you said, people can take it negatively and get bogged down, but you didn't, which is, it's a lesson for me. I'll just note it down because that's a great way to handle criticism or feedback or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to wrap it up by saying that whenever someone from a family that is into showbiz ventures out doing something different, people always ask why, because it's always safe to go into the film zone. People can always say, I mean, it's Jackie's daughter, it's Tiger's sister. You will have no problems getting in through the door. Of course, beyond that, it's your own talent, it's your own hard work that takes you. Right. But people would assume that, for Krishna, it would be very easy to get into the film line. She can get a role. So your choice of doing something different, doing something that you like completely different, was that because you didn't want even a hint of those allegations of, the brother helped her or the father helped her? Or was it not that at all?
It actually had nothing to do with that. I'm a pretty strong-headed person. I know what I want and what I don't want. I know what I like and what I don't like. And it's as simple as that. That world, I'm so grateful for what it's given me and the platform it's given me to be able to, kind of do what I need to do and have a larger voice for more people to hear. But it's just not something that ever resonated with me, and for me, I've been pretty clear in my head. I want to wake up and do something that I love every single day, because for me, I'm a very competitive person. And if I don't love what I'm doing, I'm never going to give it 100%. If I don't give it 100%, I'm not going to be the best at it. So for me, it's extremely important to love what I do in order to be the best at it. And just give it my all, So I was pretty clear in my head that this is the path I wanted to take. And, I feel like it's been amazing. The support I've received has been so immense, from guys and girls from all over the world. I have random messages that I go through every single day. And, something as small as someone telling me I motivate or inspire them in some way makes me know that I'm definitely doing something right.
Yeah, you're on the right path. And how did your family react when you told them that this is what you want to do, this is how you want to go forward? Your dad particularly, because your brother is already involved in likes, he gets what this art form, this fight form is.
Yeah.
What was your father's reaction like?
I've been blessed. I'm sure everyone says that about, I have the most supportive mom and dad, the most supportive brother. There was never any hesitation, and if there was, I mean, it wasn't, communicated to me. Yeah. They kind of just let me explore and experience and be free to, either make mistakes or not, and kind of just, live life and learn through each journey. It took my dad to kind of, it took him a while to kind of understand what the sport is, right. Because if someone doesn't really understand it or know it, initially they might just think, it's aggression and it's a blood sport, and, right. Might be a little intimidated or freaked out about that part of it. But when you truly get to know what martial arts is, it's about respect, and, right. It teaches you defense before attack. That's the main right. thing. So yeah, I think, now he's a little more knowledgeable, and he's waking up Sunday mornings and watching all the fights with us. Wow. So I think he's on board.
You've converted him. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thanks for speaking, Krishna, and all the best for the fight night. And hopefully we see you again in the capital soon for more such events, for more such fight nights. And hopefully we can do this in person sometime when the pandemic is not around.
Definitely.
Thank you. All the best. All the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.